Hello, guys, and welcome back to the FPL Duo. We are back for the fixture and transfer tips video for Game Week 9. In this video, we will be looking ahead to Game Week 9, talking about the best players to bring into your team and also the fixtures that we're looking to target. How you doing anyway, Jordan? How's your week going so far?
Yeah, so far so good. Hopefully everyone else is enjoying their week as well. And yeah, a few things to talk about. Obviously, to the build up to Game Week 9, it should be a good in-depth video on a better idea on who you should bring in. Obviously, the fixtures and all that good stuff.
Yeah, obviously, Game Week 8 has just concluded. It's been a pretty bad week for a lot of us, but we'll talk about Game Week 9. So let's bring up the fixtures first. So the teams to target. So sorry if you my voice is a bit got a bit of a sore throat, so do bear with me, guys. So the fixture that we're looking at targeting is Man City up first. I think they have the standout game this week. Now, Man City wasn't great on the weekend, so they just about nicked a win against Wolves after the last minute header from John Stones, and they do have Southampton next. Now, on paper, this is probably the best fixture of any season of any team, really. Because you look at Man City, what they can do, and then Southampton are one of the worst teams in the league this season. I think it's fair to say they've been conceding a lot of goals. Even before going into the Wolves game, I actually said I may consider captaining Haaland, triple captaining Haaland, sorry, in this fixture if he does well against Wolves. Obviously, that wasn't the case, and he ended up blanking against Wolves. But now it gives me a sort of a debate whether I choose to triple captain him. I probably won't go there anymore after his performance and Man City's performance. But I still think I'll be captaining Haaland in that game. I don't see me moving it away. I'm going to give Haaland this match and see what he does. If he doesn't do well in this one, then maybe Game Week 10, I look at changing it. I do want to see what Man City do because I think the fixture still can't be ignored. What do you make of Man City, Haaland? Obviously, with the fixture as well, are you going to captain Haaland in that game week as well yourself?
Well, I think it's a fixture that's hard to ignore the captaincy over Haaland, even though his last game week didn't really give much confidence in his performance. But it is Southampton. They did lose Game Week 8 when they were leading 2-0 and then lost 3-2 to Leicester. So by that standard, I should think Man City will obviously win that game, though. Offense to obviously Southampton. I'm sure they'll put up a good fight. But it is a fixture where, yeah, it looks like Haaland is going to be the most captain player in this game week again, despite his 3 blanks in a row. I think we still have to consider that Haaland is a machine. We have seen him this season score hat-tricks against teams that we would not expect. So Southampton one, there could possibly be another one for him if he is in the right state of mind and the right form for that fixture.
Yeah. I'm looking at Haaland still. I think if you have Man City assets, if you've got the likes of Guardiola, I think is a really good option. We know he scored another goal on the weekend. Stones also scored. Rico Lewis, I think you've got to play him if you've got him. So I still think your Man City assets are fine, guys. I think they haven't been great performance-wise, but they're still the only unbeaten team in the league. So we don't get too carried away. We'll have to see what Man City do, and I expect them to bounce back quite strong. Wolves again is interesting.
Yes.
Why have you selected Wolves as a team? Do you mean Wolves target Wolves or target Brighton? I'm a bit confused with this one.
Yeah, it's definitely to target Wolves players. Despite now, obviously they haven't won a game so far this season, so it looks a bit screwed. Why? Obviously they're on the picks, but considering that they haven't won a game and their performances haven't been that great, I still think now that their fixtures are starting to swing, it's similar to Everton. We saw them have a bad run of fixtures, well, a tough run of fixtures at the beginning of the season, and that sort of screwed the form and results of obviously their team. But we have to consider as well, Wolves have been up against Arsenal, Chelsea, Newcastle, Liverpool, Man City, obviously in the last 8. So in respect, you got to say that's got to be a tough run for obviously Wolves to comprehend. But leading on to this, you obviously got Brighton away. That's in previous results, that's been a high scoring fixture between the two. Anything can happen in that game. And then after that, you've got a nice run of fixtures all the way until game week 17. So long term, Wolves assets could be a possible move to go to, especially if people with frustrations from last game, especially with Arsenal assets in particular. And other such.
No, I agree. I think the fixtures have turned for Wolves. So we'll come on to the sort of the players we're looking at. Moving on to Fulham as well. I think Fulham, I mean, the main one, I think Raul Jimenez really looking really good. And Fulham have been really good so far this season. Started the season off well. You know, Smith Rowe's been a really good asset as well so far this season. Let's put up the players now on the side, the ones you can look at potentially bringing in. So we're looking at Man City. We've mentioned Vardiol. Foden is an interesting one. If I was going to Foden, I personally would hold out still. I have been spooked off Foden due to the benching. However, if you do want to take that risk, he probably will start against Southampton. It's a great fixture for him if he does start, and he's a bit of a differential. So if you do want to take that risk, I think he's a good pick. Vardiol, we know, is a good pick. He's getting goals. Anyone else, really, I'm not really too keen on their defense at the moment. I mean, Rico Lewis, a lot of us have him. If he's fine to play in this fixture. What do you make of the other players? I mean, thoughts on Foden? Would you be bringing him in with the benching?
I mean, I wouldn't be bringing, particularly for me, a Foden in, but considering he only played 24 minutes last game week against Wolves, he did manage to get an assist, which I think added to the importance of Man City winning that game. So if Foden is to start at Southampton at home, that's the best fixture he can possibly have. Possibly get a few good minutes in, and possibly get a nice haul in that fixture. Other midfielders haven't really tickled my fancy in terms of bringing in, but Foden is the one. Just from those 24 minutes he played, it looked really good. And with
he did get an assist as well. He got an assist off the corner for the game for the zone that.
And that's what,
goal, didn't he?
Yeah, and that's what that was important in terms of winning that game. Without Foden, who knows what would happen in that game, and if Man City would have won it, maybe it was a draw if that moment didn't happen. But with Foden as well, it is important as well that he links up well with Haaland. Similar to KDB, he will provide balls more for Haaland. Maybe that gives him more involvement too. So we have to consider that as well if he is to start in that game. So he could be even more better pick if he does start as well alongside Haaland in that fixture.
Yeah, and moving on to Wolves, the players, obviously, I think Cunha definitely won top of the list for Wolves. That's it. Strand Larson scored as well against Man City. He could be an option. And Ait-Nouri is one I've been speaking about for a couple of weeks now. I'm looking to bring in Ait-Nouri into my team. So those are the players I'll be going for Wolves. And then for Fulham, I think there's only Jimenez and Smith Rowe really out of the players I'll be looking at in that regard. So those players are the suggestions that we recommend, guys, of bringing in ahead of the game week 9. Let's do the fixtures as well. So I want to bring up the fixtures and see what the swing is at the moment. I'll also bring up on the FPL website because I do like the FDR ticker on the actual FPL website. So I'll do that as well. So in terms of teams to target, who do you think's got a nice little run of games, Jordan, coming up, and what team should we be looking to bring players in from?
Definitely Everton. We've spoken about them before, but they have a really nice run of fixtures. All the way through till game week 14 when they play Wolves at home. Till 9 to 14, nice run of fixtures. I definitely like McNeil still as an owner myself. He got an assist last game against Ipswich in that 2-0 win. Even an Everton defender as well, like a Keane, like we saw last game, he managed to get a goal as well.
Yeah,
got a nice double haul and a clean sheet. So I do see more clean sheets for Everton as well. So defensively and attacking players could be good long term for them.
I'm going to share my screen with you guys for the fixtures list. Just bear with me one moment. Hopefully you guys can see that. Second, there you go. So Arsenal, I think at the moment are on a void. I wouldn't be bringing in their assets. The Patrick also just mentioned Saka is not in the squad tonight. So is it worth selling him to Son when I would want him back in game 12? In terms of Saka, I've just seen the lineup. He isn't in the bench. He's not in the squad. I'm not surprised with that. Arsenal have played a strong team though. They've gone full strength, bar Saka. So I think one to watch, Patrick, in terms of Arteta's press conference before the weekend. Obviously, they play a big game against Liverpool. Saka, if he's fit, he's going to start. However,
Yeah.
I'd be waiting to see what happens with the press conference. If you hear that, if it's 50-50, I would remove him for Son, and then you can always bring Saka back in later. Because when you look
Yeah.
at Son, fixtures wise, I do like Son's fixtures. So he's got Palace, who've been struggling a lot this season, still yet to win a game. Villa at home, then Ipswich at home as well, which is a nice game for Son. So I would do the move when you consider Saka has to play Liverpool, Newcastle, and Chelsea, and they're not easy games. 2 of them are away from home as well.
Yeah, and I think even if he is fit for Liverpool and the other 3, I'm still selling Saka. Those fixtures that Son has over him, yeah, it's totally worth it, in my opinion. If you're going to bring him back in Gameweek 12 anyway, then you might as well make what you can off of Son for those 3 game weeks, because I don't think Saka will get much involvement.
Yeah, I have Saka myself, so I'm in the same sort of position. And if I was to sell Saka, which I may do, it would be for Son over someone like a Foden at the moment. Looking at the fixtures in terms of Villa, Bournemouth next, which is a nice game. Tottenham, Liverpool after that. So I'll probably avoid Aston Villa for now, but maybe Watkins becomes an option from game week 12 onwards. Bournemouth, I think I'd avoid for now. I know a lot of us have Semenyo. I think when the fixtures turn again in game week 12, you can maybe play him in the odd weeks. Brentford just coming off the loss against Man United, but they do have a nice fixture against Ipswich at home. Mbeumo is very popular still. Other than Mbeumo, Jordan, would you be bringing in Brentford players at the moment? They've got some decent fixtures coming up.
I think I would be tempted at a defender, maybe a Pinnock. I mean, he did score back-to-back goals against Wolves, Man United. Could be a nice pick for the next upcoming game, Ipswich. But yeah, in terms of defence, I quite like Pinnock, 90-minute player, and they would possibly clean sheets for Brentford.
Brighton is probably a team for now I'm looking to avoid. I'm not a fan of them playing Liverpool and Man City back to back in game week 10 and 11. Chelsea had a pretty decent performance against Liverpool. I'm not really looking at bringing in any Chelsea assets at the moment. Newcastle, Man U, and Arsenal next up for Chelsea, so it's not the easiest running. If you've got Palmer, I think you're okay to hold Palmer. I still think Palmer can return in these 3 games, even though I thought Liverpool, absolutely shut Palmer down. He didn't have a sniff in that game. And that's the quietest I've seen Palmer, I think, ever in a Chelsea shirt. So, but in these fixtures, he still can return. So I think keep the faith if you've still got Palmer. But if you're still looking to bring Palmer in, I did say don't bring him in against Liverpool. You rather have a Mo Salah. Obviously, you saw Salah and what he did, which was expected. Obviously, Salah being at home and Palmer having a tough away game. I thought Palmer was quite isolated in that match. He didn't really get involved. But I still think you can get by without Palmer if you're. I don't think you have to rush him in for Newcastle. Palace have Tottenham. So again, at the moment, Palace are just an avoid, I think, until they show us some form. Everton, obviously, you've mentioned McNeil already. I've got Calvert-Lewin, which has been very frustrating going with Calvert-Lewin over Chris Wood, who I initially had, and Chris Wood scored again last night, and which was very annoying because I sold Chris Wood to get Calvert-Lewin. It's not worked out so far, but I'm hoping Calvert-Lewin could sort of give me some returns in the next 4. You look at Everton fixtures, surely Calvert-Lewin should return in some of these.
Yeah, in terms of his XG, he's expected to score any moment now. It's like with Rodgers, he's had a few blanks at the start of the season. I know that Calvert-Lewin has had more time, obviously, but yeah, it is coming, I think, for Calvert-Lewin in one of these fixtures upcoming.
Yeah, he had the chances to score, and he's just now taking the chance when he gets it.
Yeah.
Leicester will avoid. Sorry, Fulham. Again, we mentioned already. We spoke on Fulham. Ipswich we're avoiding right now. Leicester would probably avoid as well for now. Liverpool again. If you've got the likes of Salah, I think you just hold Salah now. And if you've got him, I wouldn't sell him before Arsenal. It's a tough game. I'd be confident playing Salah. Salah's record against the big 6 teams is actually a joke now. I mean, I saw a stat somewhere. Salah's scored over 60 goal involvements against the big 6 teams. So he is a big game player and he does turn up in his moments. So other than Salah at the moment, I wouldn't be looking to bring in any other Liverpool player. I think Diaz, we saw him get rotated out. Jota, unfortunately, did pick up a knock. He wasn't seen in training I think he's got bruised ribs. Don't know how serious it is. So, you know, Nunes might start against Arsenal. We'll have to wait and see on that one. Obviously, Nunes did have a pretty good cameo appearance against Chelsea as well. I thought he played quite well. Man City, we've mentioned already the players you should be looking to bring in. You know, we've mentioned Haaland, captaincy, maybe even a triple captaincy, but I think a lot of people might be swayed off now due to Man City's performance in the last couple of games. Man United, for me, are still an avoid. You could take a punt on someone like Garnacho, who scored again. I think he's one of the better picks they have at the moment. I think he's one of the better players. Rashford looked a lot better, but I'm still waiting to see a bit of consistency from Man United, because you don't know what you're going to get from them. They might win, and then they'll go lose, and then they might draw. It's not really any consistency there.
Yeah, we might start to see something, because there has been some positivity, obviously, from Bruno Fernandes getting his first return. Well, not first return, but he got an assist. So that's his second assist of the season. So maybe the things are looking on the up for Man United. We'll see.
I'd avoid Newcastle, Chelsea and Arsenal, tough games back to back for them. So maybe bring him in some of the other players. Isak hopefully maybe becomes an option later down the line. Forest, Chris Wood, we mentioned, he's still a great pick. Forest have had a really good start to the season as well, winning again last night. Southampton, again, it's an easy avoid. Spurs, Son, right up there. A great pick. If you've got Saka, I think Saka to Son, if he's not fit, makes sense. Brendan Johnson's still a good option. Solanke, not as keen on him as at the moment as an owner myself, just due to Son getting more chances. I'd rather have Son than a Solanke personally at the moment. West Ham is an avoid for me at the moment still. I was not impressed with their defense against Spurs. Very leaky at the back. I think Lopetegui is in trouble. He could lose his job soon, I think, of the way they're performing, West Ham. And then Wolves, we mentioned, the likes of Strand Larsen, Ait Nouri, and Cunha as well. I definitely like Cunha, and I think if I was on a wild card, I would go Cunha right now as a cheap striker option.
Yeah, Wolves have, even though they've had bad results, there's still obviously goals in there for Wolves, and that's what counts most for fantasy, those returns.
Yeah, so those are sort of the fixtures, guys, that our thoughts on the fixtures, the players they should be looking to bring in, and sort of ones to target. I'm gonna quickly have a look at the players in terms of transfers in very quickly, because we do like to do that as well. Vardiol, already 230,000 managers have transferred him in, which is no surprise after his goal on the weekend. And Burmo's up there as well, second. Son is third. Raul Jimenez, over 160,000 managers already. Raul Jimenez's ownership is now 8.1%. He's on for 4 goals for the season, so he's looking very good at his price. Son, again, is someone that I like the look of, that I might bring into my team as well. If I sell Saka, he's the number one target for me. Keane, McNeil are up there as well. Palmer, Rodgers, Johnson, Salah, he's up there. So those are sort of the players already people are bringing in ahead of Gameweek 9. Looking at players out, Saliba's right up there. Saka's up there as well. Not a surprise. Saliba is suspended for the Liverpool game. Saka is a doubt after his the last game he missed, but he should be. I've seen rumors that he could be fine for Liverpool, but fixtures are tough, so a lot of people might be turned off going there. And then obviously Luis Diaz, we know, was benched because he returned quite late from international duty, so he got a rest against Chelsea. So that's now back-to-back games where he hasn't sort of started.
Yeah, just to touch on obviously Arsenal assets, there is a massive talking point of whether it is the right time now to get rid of, if not all, Arsenal assets, because of the misfortune of Saliba getting the red card. I know he's suspended for 1 game only, but Saka injury, he's probably going to be fit for Liverpool. We'll have to see. But the fixtures are still tough. Maybe you can get away with not having Arsenal for the next 3. I'm not surprised at how many are transferred out.
Yeah, it's just hard to sell all your Arsenal assets, because a lot of us, like me, we're on double Arsenal. I personally aren't selling any of. Sorry, I'm on triple Arsenal. I've got Saka, Gabriel, and Raya. So I'll probably sell Saka, and then I'll just probably play Raya And then I'll probably play a Gabriel as well, but I'll have to see because I do have some decent bench cover this week. Havertz is up there as well for transfers out. Smith Rowe, surprisingly, is up there as well for transfers out.
Yeah, he's been a bit quiet.
Yeah, he's not got a goal. No returns in the last 3 for Smith Rowe, but he has had some tough games against Villa and Man City. Now the fixtures turn again for him, so maybe it's wise to keep him for a couple of more weeks. Raya's out. A lot of people transferring him out, over 75,000 of you. He had a pretty poor performance against Bournemouth, and it is a tough game, so you don't really see clean sheets. A lot of us do talk about Arsenal's defense. They've not kept many clean sheets so far, but they have been down to the 10 men in a lot of those matches. So that hasn't helped them either. So I think that's everything in terms of the fixtures. We'll probably wrap it up here. And we'll be back again on Thursday for team selection. So make sure you do tune in for that, guys. And it should be a good video. And anything else you'd like to add, Jordan, before we wrap it up?
Just thank you guys for watching. Obviously, there's football on tonight, Champions League again, midweek fixtures. Let's see what that does to fantasy and Premier League football. But until then, we'll see you Thursday for team selection. But take care. See you soon.
Take care, guys.